We are live, everybody. Between Two Wheels podcast, Tyler Yonke, episode 303, stage 16, individual time trial, Passy. Be careful how you say that. To Combloux, 22.4 kilometers. And it was it as expected? Somebody on this podcast was so certain that of the outcome. This person may or not have predicted 30 seconds advantage. It wasn't the case. What was it? We'll find out. Coming up.
Massive number of people have been upgrading. Yes, there you go. You see the great balloon that you were talking about before. The race we've got yet again, and a victor then goes victory to an American, Andy Hampton.
The felt it go by. He looks at the Colombian rider. How are you doing?
Straight past Santiago Botero, and he's coming up to Pantani.
Armstrong is sitting for his last few hundred meters as we come towards the finish of this monumental stage. And Armstrong,
as we start to approach the line now, Pantani grits his teeth and accelerates and over the line.
Is going now to win stage number 15. Sepp an emotional finish from Durango in the USA. Sepp wins.
Dead Man's Party. I think that's appropriate. So many people were dead after that. Only one man survived. You got one normal person doing a good time trial. We'll talk about that. Welcome, everybody. Tyler Yonke, Between Two Wheels podcast, episode 303, stage 16. Crazy day. I had a crazy day. Sorry, I'm coming in late if you're missing the live show. It's almost 8 o'clock over here, my time. I got an employee that might be embezzling. It's been a rough week. Woof, people, don't be dicks. Okay, so I thought we'd start right away with adding this up here, going over the time deficits in the GC before the day begins. Okay, just oops. Why it's showing? This is stage 16. I want to go to stage 15. There we go. Stage. Oh, you know what? Maybe I'm looking at the wrong one on the screen. There we go. Is that the one? Where are we at here? Okay, stage 16 or 15, the GC coming into today. Remember, 10 seconds, and then 5:21 just third place. We don't care about that. 10 seconds from first to third. And what did I say? I did a breakdown of this last episode where I said 20 to 30 second easy. I don't know about easy. I'm going to exaggerate a little bit, hyperbolic here. 20 to 30 second win by Jonas. I showed you what he's done over the time trials, the more flat ones coming into the final. And then I said, he's been looking good. You got the little bit of salt around the lips of Tadej. I think also the motorbikes actually helped Tadej because I don't think he had what it took. And I think Jonas would have gone over the top of him and it would have even looked worse. And you're going to see 20 to 30 second win by Jonas. And by the way, I'm in there watching this morning, super calm in that prediction. I'm watching, I'm like, there's no chance this is happening any other way. I don't know why. I just felt that way. And it was even worse than I expected. And we'll get to it. There we go. Victor, live streaming, awesome. Every man for himself at the time trial. Yes. Thanks for joining in. Sorry about I'm a little late, but let's get to the highlights for today as much as we can do. This will be a short show because it's kind of hard to do highlights on a time trial, but we'll get to it. Jonas getting checked out. Look, one of the things they always talk about is, hey, these skin suits, you got to use the Tour de France one. It maybe isn't, exactly how you would want your own skin suit. So is it going to be, the exact performance that you need? Maybe not. Mason says, your world, Tyler. We're just living in it. Thank you, because of the predictions. No, look, I love Tadej. I love Jonas. This has been nothing but a great tour. There's great things that happened in today's time trial, which was amazing. The worst thing that happened is it's no longer a 10-second deficit. But one of the best things is you see all these guys saying, oh, Tadej, going into this, Tadej's going to kill him. And it was all over the place. And I was somewhat baffled. Now, like I said, I did a little breakdown. I've seen the head-to-head time trials. There's no indication, none, that this should be the case. It's even shorter. Anyway, we're here where we're at. So there's a few things here. You're using the skin suits. Now, Jonas has the ASO, whatever they use for their skin suit, but so does Tadej, so that's a wipe. Then are you going to have bike changes or not? That was a big deal on the day. Looking pretty good. There was some good weather. We had starting out Stefan Kung. You had others. Here's it is at Passy. Sorry, my 22.4 kilometers, little out, zigzag, and then the killer shot up the climb. They had a KOM section up the climb. It was like kilometer 16 to like 18.6 or something, and you saw Nilsson Palace kind of soft pedal into it and then hit that hard, much like you also saw the Ciccone do. Now, early on, Cavagna comes out here, smashes a great time, puts 24 seconds over Mads Pedersen. Mads Pedersen does a good time. It's such an interesting mix, and we'll look at the mix here. You got climbers, you got GC, you've got a few of these time trial guys. Kung stays in the bars. He does it at a good time. I'm sorry, Kung, that was Cavagna. Kung decides to do a bike change because it wasn't kind of the whole thing that everyone doing like at the Giro where they had a place to do it. Same with Planche de Belfi. Everyone did a swap in the same spot. They didn't have that. And so it was a little odd. Look, he's just drinking a bottle here. No big deal. But however, comes across the line, 50 seconds adrift of Cavagna. Kung was flying early on in his splits. Maybe we'll take a look at the splits, and then just blew up near the end. Bike change didn't work out for him. That's what it was. Then you had Nilsson Palace had come through, set the fastest time on the KOM section. Remember, it was just that, 2.5 kilometer stretched, kind of the steeper portion of the climb before the finish. Then Ciccone comes over, sets the best time, kind of demolishes him by 40 seconds or so, or maybe it was 20 some seconds. Looked really good. Then comes along Wout Poels. Wout Poels doesn't do a bike change, looks good the whole time, crushing it up the climb, the final climb, and barely gets over the top of the finish here over, about 15 seconds over Cavagna. Cavagna waves, there you go, waves to him, hey, see ya, from the hot seat. And Wout's the man. Then, there you go, Wout looks just demolished. Okay, so then you have a lot of the big GC guys coming up, right? The top 10, because Wout's not in it, but Wout's obviously a danger man. And so we're gonna have Venert. Wout Poels, come on now. Did I say Wout Poels? Wout Poels won. By the way, the correction here, which was Wout Poels, they said this was the first Grand Tour win stage he had ever had. Wout van Aert, we're talking about the time trial, but Wout Poels. Wout Poels had a stage win a few days ago. And they said it was the first one. But if you actually look back in the record books, I think it was 2011 Vuelta, he was second to Juan Jose Cobo, who got eliminated, DQ'd for the race, and therefore Wout Poels had another Grand Tour win, but this time he at least was first over the line. So John says Van Aert. Thank you, John. Everybody is in agreement here. Who cares? Let's see if we can. All right, there you go. So the big guys are coming up. Tadej's coming up. Jonas is coming up. There was little dark skies they were a little concerned about. Man, I noticed right away, Jonas coming out of the blocks hot, hits hard, and instantly Pogačar, he had some splits. The early splits did not look good for Pogačar compared to Jonas. Now, I think it was the case that neither guy had radio, and neither guy, Pogačar, I think at one point didn't have a headset on his time trial bike, or at least that he swapped over. But Vinigo was looking good right away. Early kilometer check. Pogačar is flying past everybody, setting the fastest. But Vinigo comes through, starts setting the faster times. Tadej decides to do a bike change, and we'll look at just a tad bit apart here. It's not super quick because they have to stay behind a certain length if they have overhead barred on their cars, or bike rack there. So he takes it off. The people take it. does a big push, gets him back up to speed. I don't know. The guys are flying so fast that was this the necessary move or not? I don't know. Mason Marlowe chimes in here. He says, I heard it's only one-way radio on TT, but don't know for sure. Well, okay, one way is all you really need. You're not going to be talking much on the other side. John says, Vino emptied himself. You could see the drain on his face at the finish. Hats off. Okay, hey, why are you spoiling? Why are you spoiling the results from today? Ease up there, gentlemen. Tadej comes out here. He gets the bike change. He's looking pretty good, but coming up through the crowd, he's solid. But up ahead, Bilbao almost takes out Wout van Aert, guys. Okay, not Wout Poels. Wout Poels hasn't been anything to talk about since 2016. So finally, I got something the last stage 15, and now I'm talking about him here. So I'm getting a little Wouted up. So Bilbao comes through, almost clips. I think it was 7 seconds back. Not pretty close, but Vingegaard's flying up the climb. He's getting close to Tadej, who's getting close to Carlos Rodriguez. So the 4-minute man is starting to come into the picture. Tadej almost gets Carlos Rodriguez at the line, doesn't quite do it, but sets a blazing time over Wout van Aert. Look at that, 1:12 over Wout's time. But needless to say, coming into the finish was Vingegaard here, posting a time of 1:38.29 over Pogačar. Now, Tyler, you are horrible in your predictions. You said 30 seconds he's going to get over Pogačar. True. But I was listening to other people saying Tadej's going to win by 6 seconds. Vingegaard's going to win by 6 seconds. It's going to be super close. It's going to be Tadej. I'm sorry. It was Vingegaard by 1:38. Vingegaard said at one point, I thought my computer was misreading because the watts were so high. He goes, I was on such a good day in the middle section between the first little climb and the sprint to the second climb. I was going to average 360 watts. That was my goal. However, I put up 385. This is a guy that doesn't even weigh 85, right? He's like $132 or something like that at the most. So pretty impressive to have that going. Mason says, but who won the race ride tonight? That is the NorCal podcast. I don't know who did. I'm sorry. I just got home. It's been a long day. I'll talk to you guys about it some other time. I got some work issues, employee problems. Then came home, just a little eat with my wife and said, you know what? I'm not even going to do the podcast. And I said, you know what? You deserve it. I deserve it. Let's talk about Vingegaard. So Vingegaard crushes it. You have to do much more than that. We'll go through the whole thing, but Vingegaard did look drained here. There you go. Vingegaard 138, 251 over Wout van Aert, 255 over Bilbao. Simon Yates puts in a really good time. Cavagna. Then, you get a mix of these climby guys and then Cavagna, and then Adam Yates up there, Skilmos, Pedersen, Gaudu. David Gaudu with a nice time. And we'll break through the whole thing, but you did get Vingegaard, I think, won the KOM points, but in the end, you had Ciccone ends up in the climber jersey. And then tomorrow is going to be the queen or king. Oh, what do you prefer? Kings or queens of the day up to Courchevel, but they go over De La Loze. They don't stop at De La Loze. They drop over the other side, which is a little bit different than you had, in 2020, where you finished up at the top. What did we talk about? Angel Lopez, Angel, or Superman Lopez, one up there, followed by, I think it was Roglic, Tadej, and Sepp, somewhere in that order right there. John Novikov chimes in, the expressions between Tadej and Vino, who worked the hardest, clear winner. I don't know what you mean, but yeah. So there's the stage we're going to. Let's talk then about, let's just break this down. Look at the results of the different riders tonight, because I think this will be something somewhat interesting to take a look at here. Okay, so times. Vingegaard, obviously, we just talked about that. We'll look at the top 10, but I want to go a little deeper. Castroviejo, a pure time trialist, he goes uphill fairly decent, 3:36 back. Carlos Rodriguez, he was almost, caught for 4 minutes there to Vingegaard, almost 2 minutes there to Pogačar. Felix Gau, good climber for AG2R, pops into 3:40 back. Sepp Kuss, we talked about this. The question was, is Sepp Kuss going to be going for it to try to maintain his top 10? I looked at the profile and said, this is too, there's a big bug in here. Yikes. This is too Sepp for him to not go. It's only 22.4 kilometers. Of course, he's going to go for it. And if he does go, he's got one hard climb and then he's got another one. It's like a no-brainer. This is an easy day for him in a sense to even just get top 20. This is not a problem, which he did. He got 14th place there. Now it's 340 back. But the only big movement you had there for him was with, and we'll look at here in a second here, with Pello Bilbao. So Bilbao creeps a little bit closer. He's now within 10 seconds of Sepp Kuss, but I think Sepp's going to blow him out on De La Loz, so it's not really an issue. But 148 to Tadej, 852 third place to Adam Yates, who's now getting a tight little spot, moved up there over Carlos Rodriguez, 857, Jai Hindley, 1115, Sepp Kuss, 1256. Pello Bilbao, 1306. Now I really believe, this finishes off. Simon Yates, 1346. Gaudu, 1738. 10th place. Felix Gau, 1819, and almost 20 minutes to Martin Guillaume. Tom Pidcock back there in 12th place, 2022. What did Tom do on the day? Let's take a look at that. For the day, Tom Pidcock. How come I don't see you? Thibaut Pinot down there at 5 minutes. Vermaca. Tom Pidcock, 48th at 5:39. Okay, not so impressed with him. So what I actually think there with what you've got coming into De La Loz, you're going to see Jai Hindley getting kicked out. You're going to see Pello Bilbao getting dropped. You're going to see Simon Yates, David Gaudu, Felix Gau, Guillaume, Pidcock. You're going to see actually Sepp Kuss probably go 5th place. I think 5th place on the day and probably for the tour. I think you're going to see Sepp Kuss finishing off 5th place overall on the Tour de France. Okay, let's see what else these yahoos are saying here. Victor said Morgensen drops out of the Tour de France. Yeah, evidently he had a laceration on his thigh, so or torn muscle or something like that. So too bad for Jorgensen. By the way, it would have been interesting to see Jorgensen go today because he's a powerful rider who goes uphill well. So I think it would have been a top 15 day easy for him, probably top 10. You probably would have seen kind of like you saw McNulty at the Giro doing a good time there. No one looks at the second page. I just did. Mason Mello says, since when has this show been all about Tyler Wright? Yeah, it's I don't even understand what you guys' problem is. So let's take a look at De La Loz. We're doing this quick, folks. I hope you guys had a good ride out there tonight. I know this is the Tuesday night ride. Kind of missed it. Kind of bummed. I went last week. There you go. It's 165 kilometers. Cat 1, a Cat 1, a 2, and then an HC dropping down into Courchevel. Look, I don't believe you're going to get, I think Nelson Palace is going to continue to drop off. He showed today, Ciccone is a notch above. Ciccone was supposed to be the rider for Little Trek at the Giro. Got COVID, didn't make it. He's won the climber's jersey there before. He's won stages there. I think he win Planche de Belfi in 2020 as well in the Tour de France. He goes uphill fairly well. He's just a notch above our boy Nelson Palace. We love him, but we're trying to be obviously realistic as well. So Ciccone is going to end up taking this thing. I just feel like he's going to get in the break tomorrow. He's going to probably hit maximum on the 1-1, maybe on the 2, get obliterated on the HC, and not going to be a problem. You're going to see a battle with the Sepp Kuss, like I said, Sepp, the Yates. You're going to see it's going to come down to those 5. Sepp, two Jumbo, 2 UAE, and Carlos Rodriguez. And Jumbo just has to sit back. They finally got their stage win, right? They finally got their stage win for this tour. Now they've matched UAE. Well, I'm sorry, UAE has 2 wins, and they probably want to go one better. So I would say look for Vinigo to try to get that, but playing in a defensive role. Maybe you try to get Sepp Kuss set up, kind of like Roglic tried to do, and then play off of that. But you also are going to see Tadej in a rage mode because getting obliterated. Was this the Roglic revenge from 2020 at Planche de Belfi? Maybe so. Because what happened, by the way, Pogacar, unrealistic time trial. It's superb, but Vinigo's is probably even more unrealistic. My buddy Tom, he sent me a text. He said, so Jonas crashes or has a mechanical, it's probably, unless it's probably over. Yeah, exactly. It's fun to watch those two, Jonas and Tadej. Wout's comments that he was the fastest normal person. Nice humor and true. Yeah, that was a funny comment. And last thing he says is, so when does drug testing start? That's the question everybody is going to start doing. It sucks. I mean, I think, look, by the way, you look back at the Lance Armstrong era type of stuff, this racing is a little different. And I'll just preface it by saying you don't see the slugfest that you've seen before, which is a heart attack, and then another guy comes in and another attack over the top, and it's like 50. Watch the Alpe d'Huez stage with Tyler Hamilton, the year he broke his collarbone, and the amount of attacks all those guys do. It's not believable. It legitimately is not believable. It's fantastic to watch, though. It's great climbing, but you just don't kind of see that anymore. And then look, at least you got a guy that weighs like $1 or $1.50, or I'm sorry, $1.05 out there, Vinigo, going up climbs. Okay, at least you're seeing that. And by the way, didn't do a bike change. He obliterated everybody. He stayed down in the bars. It's got to make a difference. I mean, I don't know. It'd be interesting to see. Let's do that. Let's see if we can find the splits on this one. And maybe, I haven't even actually looked at the live stuff. I've been a little busy today. Okay, preliminary time checks. Vinigo comes in 16 seconds over Pogacar on the first check. Kung was third at 42. Simon Yates, 43. Pello Bilbao, 45 seconds. You didn't even see how far down was Wout. He's 49 seconds down. Look at that. Sepp Kuss, 11 seconds. That's at the first time check. Pretty good. Second check, there's 31 seconds. So about doubles to the second time check. And if we could take a look here, you can see the time checks. The first one is over the little bit of the hump. It's about 7K into it. And then you have 3 quick checks coming at the finish at 16, 19, and the finish at 22. So, which is, it's really interesting because you're going to see that here. So at time check 1, there's 16 seconds. At time check 2, at the bottom of the climb, Vinigo has 30 seconds on Pogacar. 30 seconds. And then he puts a minute up the climb. Cavagna had come into that. Wout van Aert had moved up. He was a minute 11 down. Where do we at? Sepp Kuss dropped 140. So he's struggling a little bit on that flatter section. That's the section that Vinigo said he was doing 385 watts, though he had planned to do 360. That's a significant amount. If that's what your set goal is, and you've got everything planned for that, and you're able to churn out a 385, that's 25 more watts. That's pretty good. Mason Marlowe chimes in, does UAE take a hard look at their equipment after today's stage? I think as close as they've been all tour, today's gap was too much. I would say possibly. I mean, you could take that from this, right? Which is, it's perfectly fine. But look, he swapped. He being Tadej swapped for the lighter bike up the climb, but then you don't have the aero advantage. I'm imagining so. He's riding what, the Pinarello, the old school there. Very well could be. Good point. Good. Anyway, third time check. Vinigo has a minute on Pogacar at the third check. And what did we say? The third check was right around 19. So you're just 1, 2, 3, 3.5K to the finish. Yates had still been up there, but Wout had moved up into third place to Tadej. Sepp Kuss, I'm just dropping him in here, 232, 12th place. And then the final, Sepp Kuss coming out of, what did we say, 14th, but Tadej, a 148. Is that what it was? Preliminary results? I thought it was 138. Did you get a time bonus? You don't get a time bonus on a time trial, do you? Crazy stuff. Okay, Zimney says, is Mason referring to chemical equipment? Okay, hey guys, that's what we're going to be. Look, you had your comments of chemical enhancements, all that kind of stuff, biomechanical aids and stuff. On the 2020 Tour de France, when Tadej came in and destroyed everybody in the Tour on the final time trial up to Planche Belfi. So we don't get to then reverse it and say now he's a victim. Okay, he's either his chemicals aren't working good or we're all chemical free or whatnot. But you don't get to say Tadej blows Wout van Aert away and he's a victim of Pogacar or Vinigo. It's all mixed in here. I think you're either all dirty or you're all clean. Or look, have you not enjoyed the first 16 stages of this Tour de France, people? Have you? If you have, then who cares? You are not going to be a pro. This goes back to the all drug Olympics. It's condoned. It's what we like. We like to be entertained. Did you not enjoy the balls in baseball that were juiced for the Sammy Sosa, McGuire, Barry Bonds? Not just the balls juiced, but their balls juiced. So that didn't sound so good. Okay, so tomorrow we have stage 17. I'm super stoked about that one. Hopefully I'll be able to catch it. I've got stuff going on, so we'll get the time up there. And then 17. So there we go. There's Courchevel. That's the one we're looking at. Then 18, more of a breakaway. That's a sprint day. That'll be Philipsen. Then 19, got to look another Philipsen stage. And then 20, I think we have another time. Yep, 20 might be the last chance. And then into Paris. So people, this has been an exciting day. I'm glad we did this. Victor says, thanks for live streaming the Tour de France Between Two Wheels 2023. I am glad to do it. Are you not entertained? Maximus Yankee. I am entertained. I hope you are entertained. This is how we do it. Everybody, thanks for joining us. I'm glad I did this. I wasn't going to do one at all. I'm glad I came in for this. Wait. Horner thinks Uno X would have won if they had less ugly TT. I haven't watched Horner's yet. I told you, I wait to watch Horner's after this, so I'm not tainted because I think he does the best analysis. And then sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, maybe I was a little bit wrong on some of this. He talked about the Vinigo not chasing Adam Yates, thinking that's the right thing to do, staying on Pogacar's wheel on stage 15. He makes good points, which is, in hindsight, you come in today and you're like, Jonas killed everybody in the time trial. Why would he be offensive when he just needed to suck wheels and be defensive? I agree now. That is the way to go. And if you knew that Vinigo was going to be riding the way he is, that's exactly the way to go. All right, everybody. Any more last comments? John, question mark? I don't know what you're talking about. See you guys. Till tomorrow. Bye.